I get why people are on the Patriots about this because they have this issue. They seem to have that this is the moment where they're crumbling as a franchise. But as long as they have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I think they'll be just fine. I mean, they just signed Demaryius Thomas, who was at one point one of the best receivers in the league, to a 1-year, $6 million contract, I believe. They just reload. They don't rebuild. They reload. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. How great they have been so far. It's pretty amazing. I as a fan of the Bills, who get killed year in and year out, it amazes me that it seems that second place just keeps interchanging. Some years it's the Dolphins, great. Some years it's the Bills, great. We made the playoffs a couple years ago. And sometimes it's the Jets. And as Tom Brady is apparently entering his prime at the age of 41, 42, how much more does he have to give the game? I mean, I think he said about 3 to 4 years, maybe. I hope it's not more than that. I hope it's not that. I hope this year's his last year. You know? I mean, what more do you have to prove? You know, you're the greatest QB ever. You know, I mean, look, do you want to do it for the love of the game? Sure, maybe. You know, what's football going to be like without you? I don't know. More competitive in the AFC East, I guess. More competitive in the AFC. You know, I'm kind of sick of the Patriots as much as anybody. But I think I would keep Tom Brady as quarterback for the next 5 years, I would say, and have that video not released to the public, because I know that it's going to circle around some social media that I happen to stumble upon. I'm not going to actively search for that video. That's absolutely disgusting. But no one's going to look up that video in the conscious mind and say, you know what? Yeah, I want to look that up. No, you're out of your mind, or something's wrong up top. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. You might have a little screw loose or two. But on some good news, though. Again, Twitter's a wonderful place for the bad news, but it's also good for news as well. So, Alex Trebek, who, as many of you guys probably know by now, is currently fighting cancer. And, you know, that's a tough thing for everybody, but it seems that the universe on Twitter, regardless of where you stand on anything, is supporting this guy, because Alex Trebek is the GOAT, right? He's the GOAT of game shows. You know, he's been around Jeopardy for God knows how long, and we obviously want him for longer. We want to keep him around longer. And he says he intends to be back. He says, on this final day of the current season of Jeopardy, he says, I'm feeling good. And he says, I look forward to seeing you once again in September. Which, again, is promising. You know, it's a great thing to hear from what seems to be a genuinely good person. And it is great just to kind of see all these comments saying, yep, he's going to be good. Because, yeah, no, I mean, like, you know, cancer's affected people in one way or another. And, you know, for someone of his stature to go through it and to get the type of support that on social media that you don't, universally, that you don't get, it's pretty amazing. I think, if you ask me, it's pretty awesome to kind of see that. So I'm excited. So I'm excited to see, you know, him come back. I'm excited to see him on more Jeopardy. You know, he's just a staple of the game show community, and it's kind of hard to see. Okay, what Jeopardy would like beyond him. I think people don't want to talk about it, and that makes sense. I'm going to make this transition to the NBA playoffs. It's not really a great transition because it's kind of hard to transition from that particular topic to basketball, which, again, it's not easy, but we make it work as we do, right? The way the NBA playoffs are shaping up are pretty great. Right now, if it's on TNT, you can catch the Pacers Celtics tied at 27. Boston leads the first game 1-0. You can also catch Milwaukee game 2. It's 5 Pacific, by the way, and the Jazz and Rockets is 6:30 Pacific. You can convert that to your own time zone. I think one thing that makes me so mad in some respects. So I work for a finance company, right? And sometimes I have to email partners, hey, can we meet at this time, Pacific time, because it's my time. And I try to, and one thing I did realize over the years is that people don't know how to convert time zones. It's ridiculous. So there's a funny story with my dad, who I've talked about on the podcast before. He's the GOAT. I love my guy. I love that guy. He's the best. So my first time moving out here to the West Coast, and first of all, my dad's an immigrant from a foreign country. The concept of time just understands that he gets up to go to work, and then he comes back home and does that all over again every day. Hard labor. So that's all he does. He doesn't really focus on other things outside of that. That's just what he does. And he's 65 years old. And still does it. Still really strong at it. Great. But he doesn't know the concept of time zones. So my first 2 months moving out to Portland, it's 4 a.m. So I still have another couple hours before I actually have to get up for work. And so I wake up my phone. God, 4 p.m. It's tired. Speaking of which, so it's 4 a.m, and I'm trying to get I'm trying to get some sleep. My dad calls me. 4 a.m. I'm thinking, what's wrong? I don't know what the heck is going on. And so he calls me. He's like, hey, why aren't you up for work? I'm like, what do you mean? You should be at work right now, right? I don't know why you're not at work. And I'm just like, Dad, it's 4 a.m. here. He's like, you mean it's not 7? No, Dad, no. It's 4 a.m. There's a 3-hour difference between where you live in Maryland and where I live here in Portland. And he's like, oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, go back to sleep, and I'll talk to you later. I'm like, thanks, Dad. Bye. And I just had to laugh at that because I just, my dad has been, growing up, you'd think your parents are the smartest people in the world. And it's not to say that they're not, because they have a lot of life experience, which I think has a lot of value. But the concept of time zones is just so hilarious to me. It seems like a basic concept. And again, back to the story where I email people and say, hey, look, this is what time I want to meet. Can you meet? And they say, well, what time is that my time? Well, what time is that my time? Are you kidding me? You can't convert hour, 2 hours, 3 hours difference? Come on now. That's ridiculous. I don't know. It's crazy to me. Anyway, going back to the NBA playoffs, it's been kind of hectic. I think the first round of games, you want them to be great, right? And I was talking to just someone on one of the people I went to college with. I would say a good guy. On Twitter about the NBA playoffs. And I told him in the Eastern Conference, look, it's not going to be an easy matchup all around. It's going to be pretty great, whether it's Milwaukee, Boston, or Milwaukee, Detroit, Indiana, and Boston. We look at with the 76ers and the Nets, what's going on there. What else you see, the Raptors and the Magic. Those are going to be great series. The Eastern Conference this year is better than the West, I would say, top to bottom. And there's no question about it. The West, it seems that they've been so strong for so long, and it's been out there forever. Now, does obviously the West have the best team in the league? Yeah, they have the 2-time defending champions, winners of 3 of the last 4 championships, and the Golden State Warriors. And now with no team to really to take the throne that used to be held by Cleveland and LeBron James. Where is that going to go to next? Is it going to go to Milwaukee? Is it going to go to Giannis? Is Giannis the next best star, big star that's going to represent the Eastern Conference in the playoffs? Is it going to be Kawhi? Is he going to build on this year he had in Toronto, stay with Toronto, and try to build a winning culture or potential championship culture in Toronto? Is it Philadelphia? Is it the process finally coming to fruition? They have arguably the best lineup in basketball, top to bottom, at least starting five. Can they get over the hump? Can the Celtics figure out what did not go right in the regular season and make it good? I mean, there are 4 legitimate teams, I would say, that could make it out of the East. And I wouldn't be surprised by any of them. And I think and the teams that challenging them, I mean, you have the Pacers, who don't have a star, but are a good team. You have the Magic, who don't necessarily have a star. You have Vucevic, who's arguably their best player, but they don't necessarily have. They have Aaron Gordon too, but I think he's just. We know what he is, and he isn't going to be a star. He's just a really solid player, which is great to have. But I don't think he's a second option on a championship team. The Nets, they're an up-and-coming team who's had to rebuild out of nothing because trading away all their picks a couple years ago, and now they're trying to figure it out now, which is great. And the Pistons just kind of snuck into the playoffs just because Miami and Charlotte just kind of gave up. So it's kind of interesting how that works out. And in the West, the Clippers won a game that they were down by 31 points, but does anyone really expect anyone else to come out on top? No. Of the series, does anyone else expect the Clippers to win in the first round? No. But with that win, what it did say is, look, the Warriors, this will be the most challenging path to a championship, which is what we want, right? We don't want a team that coast through and we can predict before the season. Yes, do I think more likely than not that the Warriors are going to win the championship? Yeah, more than likely. I think it's safe to say that people can put money on it and they would probably come out with some type of return, right? But we want the challenge, or at least the appearance of a challenge, to be there. And that's all we ask. That's all we ask. And that challenge will come from the Houston Rockets in the second round. And I think it will either come from the Blazers or it'll come from the Denver Nuggets if they happen to get to the championship in the conference, at least the conference finals. There are going to be challenges along the way, and now with no Boogie Cousins, how does Andrew Bogut fill that void? Yes, he won the championship a couple years ago, but he wasn't out of basketball until they re-signed him. So how good is he now as the starter on a championship-level team again? Can he make the difference that he did a couple years ago and be that force that he was? If the shots aren't knocking down with Clay and Steph, or if either of them or even Kevin Durant get hurt, that's going to be a problem. The depth isn't there. So what does it come back to? Coaching. And it seems to be the topic of the day, coaching, right? Coaching. That matters. That does matter. And we're going to see it as the playoffs go on. How is Brett Brown and the Sixers is going to coach this Sixers team that seems to think that they're above the coach in some respects? In basketball, it seems that the players are above the coach. Okay, case in point, LeBron James. But can they coincide with one another? I think that's the biggest goal that we have. Can the coach make the talent work? And that's what we all look to do. That's what coaches look to do. They look to get the talent they have around them and make it work. And it's harder and you could say, in some respects, that some of the top teams in the league, yes, they're controlled by stars, and